Hey there, this is Greg with Van GoGo. Pretty much my first ever YouTube video on our channel, on our new channel. What I wanted to show today is how to mount the Pormido rear view mirror camera and rear view mirror. The reason I'm posting this video is there's a lot of people who've bought this camera system and mirror for their RV. They talk about how great it is, but nobody's really showed how to install it. So what I thought I'd do here is show an installation video. We've got for a system here. So it's the Pormido smart streaming video mirror dash cam, and I wanted to make sure that this was hardwired, and so we didn't have to recharge it or have it plugged in. So also got this dash cam hardwire kit, so hopefully I'm going to mount this right to the fuse box here. A couple of things I had to take into consideration when selecting this is I wanted to make sure that the wires were hidden as much as possible. So that's why I got this wiring kit, got the mirror, and I'll show you where I'm gonna hopefully install this. So this is a Travato G, it's a 2019, and obviously gonna mount the mirror right here. And the idea is to hide the wiring to make this as much of a professional install as possible. So I have seen a video where somebody installed this on a Travato K. Looked like it wasn't too difficult, but I want to make sure that I hide the wiring underneath this pillar. Run it up along here, and then I'm thinking the easiest route to take this is going to be to run the wiring up in there, up along this section in here, down this headliner, and through this kitchen cabinet around here. This is the shower, and then back in here and out through the back side. So ideally I want to mount this the camera portion somewhere back in this section. This is your standard backup camera that shows up on the dash when you put it in reverse. So I want to mount it somewhere in here, and then I wanted to make sure that this wire is hidden, and we got to get the trick is to get that wire through into the interior. So last night I was poking around and I undid these two screws, got them kind of loose here for it because I just loosened them up last night, and I noticed you can get right underneath this compartment and then pull this away, and right underneath here, I don't know if you can see them, but there's two holes where the existing camera wiring go in. Well, I took a flashlight and put it in from the other side into the interior, and I noticed I could see the light from the flashlight coming out the other way. So hopefully, if everything goes right, I will run that wire through that compartment, back up somewhere in here, and be able to tuck that wire in nicely so you can't even see it, and then also up in this area to be able to run it all the way up to the dash where we're going to see the camera. So here's the mirror, and on the back side of the mirror it's got these little hooks. Sorry about my fingers there. It's got these little hooks, and it has these little straps, and the idea is you rest the mirror right over the top of the existing mirror, and then you strap those down into place, so hopefully this thing doesn't move. So I'm going to give that a shot. And there it is. It was a nice, clean, easy install. Just strapped it right down into the back. On the other side, there is also a front-facing mirror that you can record events as they come up, especially when you go through nice drives. You can always record that, and you got a video shot of that drive. Also, if there's an accident or somebody pulls out in front of you, sure is nice to have a documented videotape of what just happened there. So now the trick is to mount the camera and to get a good viewing angle on it here. So nice thing with this manufacturer, this is the little camera here. They gave you lots of cool mounting options. I don't know if you guys have ever used this 3M sticky tape before, but once you put that in place, it is there. It is solid. Ideally, I wanted to mount it right underneath here, right next to my existing backup camera. But the problem is, I don't know if you can see the top of the van door. If I open the van door, it's just not going to clear. Now, I could mount it up here, and my concern is when that light comes on, it might saturate the camera. Also, in order to mount it there, I would have to drill a hole in the top of this compartment and silicone it up. I live in the Northwest and it is wet here. It is rainy all the time. And last thing you want to do is have any sort of moisture get into anything like that. I know I could use plenty of silicone to seal it up, but still moisture just has a way of finding its way in. So what I'm probably going to do is, let me open this up a little bit. Probably going to mount it like this. So now it's away from the light to a degree. The mount will go up top. I'll use that 3M tape to stick that on. If I have to drill a hole to secure that a little bit tighter, I definitely will. And then also I can get full range of adjustment to adjust this thing to make sure we get a good viewing angle. So that's where we're gonna go for. All right, it was a success. So one of the things I was most intimidated about was trying to get this wire that connects to the camera through the interior. Let me show you this. There's that wire. And this wire is the one that's going to run all the way up to the mirror. I'm not too worried about tucking this wire into all this headliner and trim and stuff. I've done stuff like that before, but I wanted to make sure I didn't have to drill or penetrate. This will be stashed right up inside the headliner as well. And now I can connect up the camera. All right, had to drill a small hole here to route the camera wire in, and then I'm going to hopefully mount the camera right up in here. I'll definitely be using lots of silicone to seal up that hole. Like I said, I live in the Northwest, and moisture does have its way of finding into places. All right, so I have the camera mounted. Like I said, I had to drill a hole right there. I could have drilled a hole right in top, but like I said, I live in the Northwest. We drill a hole and then moisture finds, figures out how to get in through those holes. So I drilled a hole right there to run this wire through. I will fill that in with lots of black silicone, so it's can't see it, limit what we can see as far as that thing sticking out. I'll get the wire tucked in there nicely. And nice thing with this camera is it's got lots of motion here, so we can adjust it just how we need it, tighten down those screws so we got good visibility. And then hopefully this red light here doesn't saturate out the camera in the nighttime when that's on. All right, so far a good clean install. Also plugged it into the mirror, make sure everything was functioning fine. It all looks great. So now the trick is to take all these wires, run it up along the headliner so they don't see, and run it all the way over to that far pillar on the passenger side and route it down so it's going right to the mirror. All right, so this is tucking in pretty good. So I used to have a headliner tool. It was great for snugging wires. I have no idea where it went to, but I did find this, which is a screen door repair roller, and it's working pretty slick. So I can take this wire, run it along the headliner here, and just kind of roll the wire in. I want to be careful because I don't want to split any of these wires and then have to get a new harness and start back from square one. But this is a really difficult area there because the interior is really snugged up tight against this wall. So I've got the wire ran along the headliner here, and I'm able to tuck it in pretty well so it's hard to see, but you can see that little, looks like a black bead of caulk running through there. I'm using this screen door tool. It's nice, it's got a little groove in it so the wire fits nicely on there. I'm just being gentle on how hard I push. I don't want to break the wire. It does seem like right up in here, this is where Travato must have had a fastener here to secure the cabinet to the headliner. So it's really been tough to snug that in. I might try it later on and snug it in a little bit tighter after I get done running the wire. Right in these areas, what a cinch. I mean, the wire just tucks in there up and out of the way. And then this little section in here, this wire is going to tuck where you're not even going to be able to see it. So now I have to run it down this section. This is right where the van door is at. Route it up around there, down through this pillar, underneath, and then underneath where the front windshield is and over to the mirror itself. All right, got the wire all ran underneath here. You can't even see it. That channel almost looks like it was made for this wire. Easy to run it up in this section in here. Just routed it down and around. You can't even see it. A little bit of wire sticking out here. I'll make sure that gets tucked in and secured. I want to make sure that it's well away from this door so it doesn't, you know, the door doesn't slam on it and start breaking it down. But honestly, this has been a pretty straightforward and easy install. Running the next section down in here, I'll tuck this out of the way so you can't see it. Yeah, it's as easy as that. And look how easy it is to run the wire up along the window. Sorry, gotta get in here. This easily just folds down and you can just, you know, look at running this thing almost, you know, one-handed. It tucks up nicely up in here, so you're not even gonna be able to see this. I'll continue to run it through this section in here in this pillar, up along the windshield, and then down right into the mirror. So hopefully it's nice and hidden. All right, I've got the wire all ran, almost ready to make connection to the mirror itself. But look at all this excess wire. Now the nice thing about this company is they gave you plenty of wire if you need to run this over a much longer motorhome. This is a 21-foot motorhome. So I'm gonna have to stash these wires. Hopefully I'm gonna be able to stuff it up in there and make sure it's just tightened out of the way, and hopefully won't be able to see it. All right, everybody, this is installed. So all the wiring tucked up well. I'm probably going to seat some of it a little bit better, but you really can't see anything. The excess wire tucked up nicely underneath the windshield. I've got the thing on, and this is pretty slick. So if I hit this, that shows you what the camera is seeing out the back. You can see it's looking into our garage right now. I do need to take this out for a test drive. This is kind of cool though. Hit that button and it shows you the front view. So, you know, you can see past travels. We went over to Zion and took the entrance from the east end and headed west, and it sure would have been nice to record that drive because it's so beautiful. I mean, just one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, and it would have been slick just to hit this and be able to record everything, because then I could have saved that footage. Anyway, see this? I got a power wire connected here, and it's connected up to the power port. I don't want that. I don't want these wires hanging out here. So I did get a power supply that will run down to the fuse box in here. I'm going to install that next. I imagine it's going to be pretty simple because this was actually pretty simple to install as well. So we'll do that one next. All right, so this is my hardwire kit to hardwire the mirror to the vehicle. So that way I don't have to use that ugly power port to run a wire all the way up to the mirror. I want to be able to hide all that stuff so you don't see it. And this is what you got. Here's the kit. Here's the contents of the kit. This is the wiring system itself that goes to the mirror, and this is slick. These are the little fuse adapters for all the different types of fuse systems that are out there. I don't know if you guys have ever bought these before, but just the cost of one of these is pretty much the price of this whole entire kit. So it's kind of nice to have these things. Looks like I'll be stuck with a few extras. So that's nice. This is that interior tool that I was trying to find in the last video to tuck wiring in. This is slick because it really snugs wires up into tight spots and stuff. So now I'm going to disconnect this power supply to this power tap and get rid of that. Hopefully never have to use it. And then I'm going to run this wiring mess from here, the power point. Hopefully going to twist it around this wire, just kind of make it look like it's one wire, and then run it up along here, hiding the wiring all along the way down this pillar. Actually, I'll probably I'll probably go this route and down into the side, and then ultimately trying to get into the fuse box here. All right, once again, it's real easy tucking all this wiring in here. Ran it along this pillar, can't even see it. And then I'm running it down this molding here, and it's kind of cool. You can just peel back that molding. Gosh, I hope you guys can see that with the resolution here. It's got the sun coming in. But anyway, Just ran the wire down here. It's like you're easily just feeding it, like it's designed to take this wire. Tucked it up underneath here. I believe there's a curtain side airbag in here that you don't want to really mess with much. Could be wrong. But now I'm just running along this door trim. I'll tuck that in nicely, get up underneath here, then I can run it right up to the fuse box. All right, got the wire all routed. Here's the end wires here. So now I'm going to attach one of these fuse adapters onto this end wire and ground it out. But really the decision is which fuse are you going to connect it to? You got two choices per this wiring system. With these wires plugged in, with this mirror plugged in, it does drain voltage when the vehicle is off if you select a circuit that is constantly on. Now what's nice with this kit here is it'll stop using power once this circuit in here detects that it might be affecting the battery. So you know, nothing worse than when you go out to your car and you try and start it and it won't start because the battery drained off. Well, this has got a circuit in there that will prevent that electricity from draining off, so you can always start your car. The benefit of that is it's always on, so if anybody hits your car, I believe this mirror will detect that impact and it'll start recording. So kind of a slick way of having a little bit of a security system. You can also select one that the mirror comes on when the ignition turns on. So you got your choice. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm going to hardwire it so it is consistently on and just see how it works. I hate it when I get out to a vehicle and it won't start because the battery's drained off, but I might give it a shot with this one just to see how effective it is. If I notice a battery drain, then I'm just going to switch out the circuit. So the way you do this is this, okay? You slide a fuse out. In this case, I selected this fuse right here. I pulled it out. Here is that fuse. So now you take it and you plug it into one of the slots on this adapter. And sorry, I'm doing this one hand because I'm holding my phone with the other one to shoot this video. You slide that in, then you slide another fuse in here. This is going to connect up to the camera, or vice versa. So now we replace this into the slot we pulled, just right up in here. And so now we connect that up to the wiring harness itself, and we see if we got power. All right, so here's what I ended up with. Connected up that fuse wire directly to this upper 5 amp fuse. Fit in nice and well. I grounded the ground wire to that bolt there, and this will kind of tuck up out of the way, but for the most part it all looks good. And I'll connect up GPS sender unit right here. So this is what the install looks like after it's all done and said. You do have that mess of wires there, kind of a little bit more than what I wanted to see. But for the convenience of this, let me turn this thing on. This is pretty slick. So I got it all adjusted in. Once again, there's my garage, you know, and my ladder that I use to get this set up. But I can easily see directly behind me. And you can alternate this to where if you want to see the front or the back, it automatically starts recording once you turn the thing on. This is actually really nice just to be able to see where you're going, because typically you can't. You can just see directly the cabinets right directly behind you. All the wires tucked up nicely underneath the headliner. You can't see any wires at all in the headliner. Now back in here, okay, this is where I tucked in the other wires. And this all looks great. There are a couple of areas though, right here. I can probably snug that one in a little bit tighter. Right up in here, I'll definitely snug that in tighter. However, right in here, some of these areas were really tight and I didn't want to push too hard and break the wire, but it's barely noticeable. I mean, if you get back here a little bit, I mean, you can hardly see it. Just looks like where the interior meted up with the cabinets. Right up in here, the shower. it's just impossible to snug this up in here. This is too tight. There's probably a fastener here that Winnebago used to fasten the trim work to the headliner. Other than that, it's all nice and hidden away. Even back up in here, you know, you can see a little bit of the wire, but it looks pretty good. And then I'll stop and go to the outside. All right, and here's the back final install. So I got this adhesive tucked down so the camera's nice and solid there. I've got this wire routed through this hole. I'm running to the hardware store right now to get some black caulk to really fill that in. I do not want moisture coming in there. This is pretty stout. Cinched down those screws, made it nice and tight. It's good and fixed on there. If I sense any looseness, I might screw a little tiny screw in there just to kind of get it snugged into place. But these 3M adhesives, they're just solid. I mean, they don't always make it like it's, you know, part of the plastic once this is tucked down. Or, I'm sorry, once it's cinched down. Anyway, that's it. Pretty straightforward, simple install with lots of benefit out of this. All right, taking this out for a test drive. See how everything goes. See, pulling away from the house. Ladder's still there. Anyway, pretty slick. I can see nicely behind me. Like having a much better rear view mirror. And yeah, it's really nice to be able to see cars come up behind you, especially when you're changing lanes. Travato's got great mirrors on the side with blind spot mirrors and everything. This is really nice to see what's coming up from behind you, especially backing up. I'm still going to use that backup camera that I have, but this is nice to be able to have this as well.